Once again, eyes, and then you will be connected. Once again, thank you for standing by. We will be
Good morning. I hereby call to order the Board of Directors meeting of the New Jersey Transit Corporation, New Jersey Transit Rail Operations, Inc., New Jersey Transit Bus Operations, Inc., New Jersey Transit Mercer, Inc., and New Jersey Transit Morris, Inc.
Good morning. Please mute your phones and turn your attention to the public safety announcement.
In the event of an emergency at NJ Transit, your safety is our top priority. Please follow these important instructions. In case of an emergency, announcements will be made over the loudspeaker or by a uniformed police officer. The emergency exit to McCarter Highway is the red stairwell located near the first security desk after you exit the boardroom. If necessary, CPR will be administered using the defibrillator. Please do not approach the dais. Documents can be presented to staff at the entrance to the boardroom. Please follow the directions of NJ Transit Police and staff. Thank you, and have a safe day.
Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I will now take roll call. Board Member Abrantes? Here. Board Member Morocco? Here. Board Member Nara?
Here.
Board Member Thomas?
Here.
Board Member Weiss?
Here.
Board Member Caniff? Here. Board Member Cruz?
Here.
Vice Chair Carson?
Here.
Chair O'Connor?
Here.
For the record, Vice Chair Carson and Board Member Nara are participating remotely. Board Member Brown may be joining us shortly. This is a meeting of the New Jersey Transit Corporation and its affiliates and subsidiaries. Adequate notice has been provided in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act and NJ Transit enabling legislation. Notice was filed on March 5th, 2025 with the Secretary of State and sent to newspapers of general distribution, posted in the main entrance of NJ Transit's headquarters, published on the corporation's website, and sent to each individual agency and organization that requested such notice.
May I have a motion to approve the minutes of the February 12, 2025 board meetings?
Motion.
May I have any discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Chris will present the President and CEO's monthly report.
So, Mr. Chairman, good morning, and my board members. I wanted to report to you on a couple of things that we've been working on. As all of you know, we reached a tentative agreement with the BLET, and we are waiting for them to ratify the agreement, which will take a process. But I want to just frame this issue for you and the public. 7 weeks ago, when we started this discussion with them, the thing that was principal for us and for them was to make sure the contract was fair to the taxpayers and fair to the members of the BLE. I think when all is said and done, that's what you'll see presented to the union, and hopefully when the ratification happens and when it's presented to you, to the board, that's what you'll see. That's important for a couple of reasons. One, we need to make sure that we are consistently thinking about the financial health of this organization. All of you work very hard, and especially our fare payers, work very hard to make sure we have an operating budget that puts us on a sustainable path. We wanted to make sure we enter into a deal that in no way jeopardizes that. And I must say, sitting across from me and Jimmy from who's a Senior VP of Rail, where Jim Lewis, who is the National Vice President, Tommy Haas, the General Chairman, and Don. All three of them were tough negotiators, but in the end, they knew what we knew at our hearts, which is we appreciate and respect the members of the BLET. We know the work they do is important to running an efficient railroad system. But they also understood that our position in making sure the taxpayers get the best deal was inviolate. So what you'll see in the end is a representation of these principles, but that is truly, in my view, fair for both parties. And I hope when it comes for ratification, and certainly when it comes to you for your consideration, you will consider it and approve it. When I started this job, I said publicly and privately that I take the responsibility of running this organization from a holistic standpoint. That doesn't mean we only focus on one thing, customer service, or one thing, service reliability, or another thing, rolling stock. We need to focus on all three. Just last week, we worked with the governor, and I was so pleased to see in his budget speech, he talked about finally fully modernizing the entire rolling stock of New Jersey. Things like that don't happen by accident, they happen by design. To have the governor, and I've now had the opportunity to work for almost 5 governors, to see, make that kind of a commitment is unprecedented, but it also shows the level of commitment that he has to the riders of the system. That means we're going to replace 250 rail cars and 1,000 buses over the next 3 to 4 years. Second, infrastructure. It is true that we own infrastructure, but on the Northeast Corridor, we also depend on Amtrak's infrastructure. We had an opportunity to go visit Portal Bridge, which is almost 80% done. That is a good example of a project where we work in partnership with Amtrak to make sure it happens on time, budget, so ultimately customers have a more reliable service. Third is last week we announced a couple of initiatives. One is a cleaning of Penn Station and customer service ambassadors at our gateway stations, so our customers can get on-time information from a person. Equally important, I think it's important for the customers to have a clean experience when they walk into a train station. So when we announce these initiatives, we do it specifically with this holistic view in mind. We need to make sure that all three parts of our commitment, rolling stock, infrastructure, and customer service, are all taken care of. The replacement of windows is a good example of that. It may seem like a small a gesture or an initiative, but the fact that customer service, and Frank Bowman was there, and it was at his recommendation we initiated this initiative. The fact that customers have been asking for windows on multi-levels that they can see through seems like a small thing, but it has a meaningful impact on their ridership experience. And that's why we announced that we will now essentially replace all 13,000 windows on our multi-level 1s and 2s within the next. That, to me, is a good example of New Jersey Transit's commitment to make meaningful and tangible improvements to our system. But we're not done yet. I understand our customers, especially on the rail system, are frustrated with some of the changes or some of the challenges we experience. Yes, we do have some mechanical issues, and I'll be the first to own it. That's why the governor has announced a full modernization of our fleet. But it is also true that we're working very collaboratively with Amtrak to make sure they make the infrastructure improvements that they have said that they would. And we're working with them on an outage plan to make sure that we collaborate and cooperate with them so the improvements can happen. But there are two other points I think that are very important for our riders to understand. There are protocols in place today with Amtrak on how we are supposed to function on the system. Look, when you're running 4-minute headways between trains, it is a very complex and choreographed dance every morning and every afternoon. If one train is late, then the entire system is late. So it is imperative for us, and we have made this point to Amtrak very, very clearly, not in a confrontational way, but in a way that actually reflects the needs of our riders, that if one of their trains is late, it does not mean all our trains get. It is a simple request, and it isn't something that we're just asking in abstract terms. We're saying that is what is written in rules that were developed in 2016, and we intend to work with them to make sure they keep their commitment. Second, I've said from the beginning that we have to control our own destiny. How are we supposed to control our own destiny if we don't have dispatching rights on the system? Yes, it is true that New Jersey Transit some 3 decades ago chose not to be part of the system. But we're in 2025. I think it is imperative that New Jersey Transit have a seat at the table, maybe not to dispatch directly, but to have input into how the trains are dispatched to make sure our customers get equal access to the system so they're not inconvenienced. Our trains carry up to 1,000 people per train set, and an Amtrak train typically carries about 285 people. That doesn't mean their people are any less important than ours. I'm just saying that we need an equitable system that works. This does not have to be confrontational. I have not made it confrontational. I will tell you openly, I have a really good relationship with the CEO of Amtrak, and my hope is that these issues get resolved in a way that I think is right, which is to work together to get them to a right solution. And I want to talk about last Wednesday. I've said to you that I'm never afraid to take blame when I'm to be blamed or the system, New Jersey Transit. Last Wednesday night, the weather was not the best, but what happened in the tunnels, Amtrak, I'm really appreciative. They acknowledged that it was a water intrusion issue that led to 2 of our trains get stuck in the tunnels. But on the trespasser incident that happened in Elizabeth, I honestly think, Mr. Chairman, we have some work to do. I think this idea that we accept a system where the medical examiner shows up 3 hours after an incident is just not acceptable. I know I'm not supposed to say things like this aloud, but I am going to say it. I'm going to say it because it inconveniences our riders. So we need to work together with our police department, with the medical examiner, with the EMT to make sure the response time when a trespasser incident happens, there are 24 of these a year that happen throughout the system, our response time is right. Somebody said the same thing happens when a car is stuck on our train track. We have to now get tow trucks from all over the region to come and move a car that happens to be stuck on a train track, and it takes 20, 30, 40 minutes for these trains to be moving. I just think that we cannot accept status quo, but these changes will happen, but they will happen at a time, I think, that will take a little bit longer. But I want you to know, Mr. Chairman and board members, that I'm focused on this, and I intend to report back to you with the progress I want to make. There will be some public comment on this next issue. I want to just address it right up. The 86 bus route. ANC was a private company that held onto this route several years ago, and they abandoned the line. New Jersey Transit, in its best conduct that I rarely think gets recognized, stepped in and made sure those riders had a ride and had a service that they can rely on. We did it because senior citizens who relied on that bus service did not have access to the route anymore. Mike Kilcoyne and his folks at the bus operations stepped in, and we now provide that service. Did that lead to some indirect serpentine routes that inconvenienced the riders of Route 86? Yes. But we are going to fix it. Come June, we're going to address the issues of the regular riders on the system to make sure that they have a good route that they can rely on that is less serpentine. That, to me, is what good customer service is. We listen. In this case, I didn't even listen to it, but I know it's coming, so I figured I'll answer the court's ask. The next thing I want to talk about is the governor's budget. The governors, for the first time, look, I've been doing this for 25 years, Mr. Chairman, just like many of you at the dais. I've never seen New Jersey Transit ever have stable funding. This is the first time in modern history New Jersey Transit can look at it reliably and say we have 2 sources of funding: fare revenues and CTF. That is how you ultimately build a reliable system. If you don't have predictable, stable funding, you'll never get to a system that is reliable. You'll never get to a system where rolling stock can be purchased and serviced properly. That's what we're putting this organization on a path to do. The last thing I'll say is we just didn't go and ask the governor for money. Mr. Chairman, you were part of those conversations. I thought it was right for us to listen to the governor's call and make sure while he gave us full funding that we asked for, I still thought it was important for us to submit cost reductions. And we did that. We provided $58.5 million in reductions and another $40 million in revenue enhancements I think we could achieve for a total of almost $100 million. That is the right way to run an organization. Will it be challenging? Yes. But is it impossible? No. I know, Mr. Chairman, you at DOT and other agencies are doing that, and I think New Jersey Transit should be no different. Let me just close with 2 things. Jeff Marinoff was a member of the South Jersey advocacy group, passenger advocacy group. He passed away March 2nd. Look, he's been on the board, he's been on this committee since 1990s. He was a meaningful contributor to this organization, and I think we value people like Jeff who take their time to make sure they're part of a solution and not just pose a problem. And lastly, Mr. Chairman, I know you're being recognized tomorrow by ACEC as a distinguished service for a distinguished service. You deserve it more than anyone I know, but I wanted to, from New Jersey Transit behalf, congratulate you. I know I've run way over my 5 minutes, but thank you so much.
Thank you, Chris. Okay, Suzanne Mack will present the advisory committee report.
Haven't been here before, so I think this is where I speak from, right? First of all, thank you for having me, and also I'm very pleased to be in the new building. I think I hold the record. I've been in all 3 of your headquarters, so to speak. But it is nice. It's very nice that you do have the virtual option for not only advisory board members, but for the public, because sometimes you just can't get here. But I am very pleased to be here, also to welcome Chris Calori back to New Jersey Transit. I have not been at a meeting since he came back, but he, in your role as chair of the committee, this board worked very closely with the committees over the years. So I was very pleased, and the committee was very pleased to see such a good appointment and such great leadership. And I think we just heard that from his remarks, because the holistic approach, we're in our 5th decade of service to the state of New Jersey Transit, and it's evolved. It's like a child that grows up, and things that were decisions that were made 30 years ago really are out of date. And I really am very pleased that he has this approach, in leading and supporting the board. He did mention Jeff Marinoff passing. As you know, Anna Marie Ganella, my counterpart from South Jersey, will be giving the next report, so I'm going to hold most of my remarks. But and I think you know that prior to Chris taking over, all of us, including Kevin, got a missive every morning. We opened up our box and we got a note from Jeff on what was happening in the world of transportation. So there are a couple of things actually on the agenda that he'd be really pleased with. One is he's been very supportive of the contract for the rail workers, but also for the last 7 years, he's talked over and over again about the cars, the windows in the cars. So I think he's looking down on you today saying, oh, you finally got around to it. Good for you. So he was a wonderful man. He's certainly railway to age. He was the historian for New Jersey on that issue, and I'll let Anna Marie speak more personally when she gives her report next month. But he would be very honored that the board and the CEO took the time to mention him, and I'm very pleased that you did also. Having said that, our next advisory board meeting is this Friday, so I don't have a report. You did have the report from the last one. And also, we will be meeting with senior staff in Atlantic City at Transaction, which is always a good chance for us to go over. You're transmitting the budget today. It's a good chance for us to delve into the budget and make some comments on that. And the senior staff's very supportive of that. I think the budget today, or not the budget, is very important, and we got some insight into that in the governor's address. And Chris is absolutely right. We haven't had stable funding in almost 50 years, and this governor has finally been able to fashion a response that we believe will stick and is what we need for the future. So I always thank the governor and his staff. Many of you do also, and I really appreciate it. Of course, there's the good. The good is the strike being settled. That's really, really good. The customer service, everybody's responding to it. I saw the orange jacket when I got off the train to get over here today. But Franz has also been meeting with the advisory boards weekly, which is different, and we have specific issues that we're working on. But we appreciate that, especially in his early days as the advocate, because he's been able to task us with some activities which we're pleased to give input to, but we're also pleased that he's moving things forward. So customer service seems to be going. Of course, the problem always will be the disruptions. This agency has always been about providing reliable service to its customers, but it's also been about its staff, which I think we really have the best staff in the country. We've won numerous awards, but I think the service disruptions and Amtrak, we talked about it last summer. We talked about it in the fall. It just has to get settled, and there has to be a new way of thinking. And I think we have the right people at the dais, on your dais, to actually take that on, because you can't separate the fact that most of the problems we've had are Amtrak related. The Hudson Tunnel, Gateway, I mean, we're moving ahead on that. Penn Station, we're moving ahead on that. But until we can share that system so that it doesn't disrupt the New Jersey riders, we only put a Band-Aid on it. So I think President Calori, and is right on target with that. And the advisory boards will be looking forward to any input that you ask of us to. We're not going to be able to serve Amtrak, but if there's anything we can look at with the marketing for the scheduling and things like that happen cyclically, we'd be happy to. And just thank you for letting me come to your new home. Thank you.
Thank you, Suzanne. Are there any comments from the public?
There are 7 in-person speakers and 2 pre-registered telephone speakers. Speakers, in order to give everyone an opportunity to be heard, comments will be limited to 3 minutes. Priority access will be given to pre-registered in-person speakers, followed by any additional in-person speakers. We will then take comments from pre-registered telephone speakers, followed by any additional telephone participants who are queued to speak. Those participating by telephone, if you have not already done so, please press star 1 on your telephone keypad to enter the queue to speak. You will hear a brief tone to indicate you have successfully entered the queue. The first speaker is Emily Manns, followed by Sally Jane Gellert.
Thank you, board members. My name is Emily Manns, and I am a resident of Newark's Roseville section. I've lived in Roseville for the past 5 years, and I'm a daily commuter on the Newark Light Rail system. The Newark Light Rail is clean, quick, convenient. The cars themselves are clean, and it's very important for many people that live in my neighborhood and neighborhoods throughout Newark. According to Intersection Advertising, which sells the advertising on Newark Light Rail, there are 17,000 weekly riders on Newark Light Rail. And in 2023, there were 4 million people's trips that were facilitated by the Newark Light Rail. For all the good things about the Newark Light Rail, there are some issues. First of all, the stations could be used a more cleanliness, a bigger cleaning schedule, particularly Military Park Station. If you've been in Newark anytime recently, particularly in the downtown Arts and Education District, you'll notice that there's change happening above the ground. Burlington Coat Factory opened directly above Military Park. Military Park itself has been renovated and beautiful. There's new housing, there's stores, there's thousands of people shopping, but unfortunately the station below the ground does not match the activity happening above the ground. I use Military Park Station nearly every day, and I do not like using it with my toddler daughter. There's puddles on the ground because of the drainage system is clogged with debris. There's rust. There's peeling paint on the walls and ceiling. And I think that it really needs to be addressed along with the external conditions of other Newark Light Rail stations. Again, the interior of the cars is beautiful. It's pristine. It's kept very nicely. But the stations themselves are not matching what the resident needs are and the high usage in this community. The other thing that I wanted to mention was in regards to the, yes, the stations themselves need support, and then also there needs to be more information at the platforms about potentially when the trains are coming. I read in 2022 that there were going to be updates to the stations. There was a study done using federal funds. There was an article I was very excited about. I just had my daughter when I read this, that there was going to be potentially handicap accessibility or stroller accessibility at 4 Newark Light Rail stations, Park Ave, NJIT, and 2 others. And I wanted to understand from the board if there was going to be an update on that, if the report had been published, what the results were of that report. Myself and many other mothers, I noticed, were carrying strollers upstairs. Sometimes we get help from a kind neighbor, sometimes we don't. There's handicapped people having to go up the stairs with their canes. It's a true issue, and again, there's thousands and thousands of thousands, 17,000 weekly riders on Newark Light Rail that really need that handicap and carriage accessibility. I wanted to speak for them today.
Thank you. The next speaker is Sally Jane Gellert, followed by Gloria Mills Robinson.
Good morning. I am, hang on. Okay, yeah. Thank you. I'm speaking this morning in my personal capacity, representing no organization, though I am a member and past chairperson of Scattertech and current chairperson of the Lackawanna Coalition. I prepared these remarks en route here this morning. I'm a little more scattered than usual. I have become more and more concerned about the state of our nation as I follow news through newspapers, online newsletters, and social media. In discussions with colleagues at WBAI, issues of censorship, both imposed and self-censorship, come up as we consider Project 2025, mentioning Pacifica Foundation as a target, along with larger public media outlets. Before becoming politically active, primarily with the 2008 presidential election, I completely bought into the U.S. American myth, the ideals expressed in our founding documents, though never really put into practice. More recently, we see that too often, wealth, power, and property rights seem to be the real guiding force, and many of us fight for more attention to the ideal, to building a better, more inclusive world, to the First Amendment rights, to all the amendment rights, the Fourth, the Second, the Fifth. Before becoming politically new paragraph. In my transit advocacy, I have complained often about lack of transparency here at New Jersey Transit, and recently about former President Corbett's attempts to limit conversation at Scattertech, even though as a legislatively mandated advisory committee, all the agency need do is host our meetings. We have no authority to direct anything, but merely bring you the benefits of our experience and those of our families and friends. We also serve as informal ambassadors of the agency as we go about our travels and assist customers at bus stops, on station platforms, etc. We look forward to a formal restoration of our full purview so we can better serve the agency. Vito Havrilla will be making the comments for the Lackawanna Coalition this morning, and the coalition is prepared to testify at legislative budget hearings, and we'll forward to our comments on that subject as they are finalized. Thank you.
Thank you. We're going to move on to David Peter Allen, and then we'll come back to Gloria Mills Robinson.
Good morning. I'm David Peter Allen, making a personal statement. I was saddened to learn that my longtime friend, Jeff Marinoff, has left us. I have been a member of the Senior Citizens and Disabled Residents Transportation Advisory Committee, Scattertech, for 21 years, but Jeff's time on the South Jersey Advisory Committee lasted for nearly 4 decades. Jeff was always a strong and vocal advocate for better transit in South Jersey, a region that truly needs it. Jeff fought hard for the Atlantic City Rail Line, the River Line, and the Pennsauken Transfer Center that connects the two. He fought relentlessly for transit in the region, and I am sure that without his efforts, there would not be as much transit in South Jersey as there is today. One thing I learned about Jeff is that New Jersey Transit Management sometimes did not like what Jeff had to say and refused to listen to him, despite his comprehensive transit knowledge. Learning that has strengthened my kinship that I had with Jeff, because that's what I'm going through at Scattertech, which intensified during my term as chair in 2023 and 24, and continues. Jeff was not a motorist. He depended on New Jersey Transit for mobility. I have also lived that way throughout my adult life, and so do 11 of our 17 duly appointed Scattertech members, and one of our motorists spent several years depending on transit as an adult. The conclusion that makes sense is that the agency does not want to hear what we non-motorists have to say, and either ignores us or at worst makes a best effort to suppress us. I have again reviewed the letter from former CEO Corbett dated April 19th, 2024. He did not specifically say that topics outside the county grant program are off limits to our committee, but his words have been construed to say that. In actuality, there are no words of limitation in the Senior Citizens and Disabled Residents Transportation Assistance Act, NJSA 27:25-25, etc. It mentions Scattertech only briefly and does not contain any words of limitation regarding our purview. If it had, then New Jersey Transit might not have approved 8 sets of committee bylaws at stated broader purposes, nor might management have withdrawn the restrictive language it proposed in December 2022 and later substituted the broader language that was adopted instead. Under these circumstances, the expulsion threat that Mr. Corbett made cannot be associated with any content that he might have wished to suppress and punish. In fact, it is so vague that it can now be considered to threaten arbitrary and capricious punishment in retaliation for anything we might say, no matter how relevant to our statutory mission. That sort of threat does not comport with our rights under the First and 14th Amendments to the U.S. Constitution or with New Jersey law. Attorney Kaluri, I again ask that you rescind Mr. Corbett's expulsion threat so our committee can fulfill its statutory mandate to our constituents without fear of punishment. I know you say that you valued Jeff Marinoff, and I valued him very highly. Please value Scattertack too. We're here to help.
Thank you. The next speaker is Gloria Mills Robinson, followed by Christopher Grief.
Good morning. My name is Gloria Robinson Mills. I serve as the chairperson for Scattertech. I'm here to give a brief update of our activities since the last reporting in February. On February 24th, we met in person and virtually. We had 3 excellent presentations, a local panel on Sussex S-Rides, 2 presentations on microtransit, and we are starting for the next 2 to 3 months to consolidate our committees. The Education and Membership Committee, we received several volunteers as we have several new members. We will be forming an ad hoc bylaws committee in order to update and revise our bylaws. And that is my update. Thank you very much.
Thank you. The next speaker is Christopher Grief, followed by David Anderson.
For the record, it's Christopher D. Greif. I do cause grief. First of all, good morning, everyone. I'm Christopher D. Greif. I'm a president of my private group called the ADA Accessibility Transportation, which is a private group. And I'm here today because since I do live in New York, and what I'm seeing at Penn Station, New York, and which I'm saying Penn Station, New York, is accessibility. And the reason I'm saying the word accessibility is not just for seniors, but also people with disabilities, veterans, and yes, baby strollers as well, because remember, we deal with all types of disabilities, even early childhood. What I've been seeing from Jersey Transit is I'm glad to see there's some good changes, but there's still some safety nets needs to be adjusted. For example, if I go to Penn Station and I want to use Jersey Transit, say if my mother or my cousin or whoever needs access to the train, the staff are not alert. Staff is not respectful to the customer. And when I see this, it really disturbs me. And if I am going into any of the stations here, the only station I will say that is very professional is Atlantic City, because at least the staff will say, do you need the ramp? Do you need assistance? But not all your staffs are available at some of these stations. And, you know, how do you know if a customer is there or paying close attention to the station? There is some ways that I know in your line that goes into Metro North, which we are working on a new kind of help point, which is called the boarding assistance. And I hope that in the future, the boarding assistance can help you guys out to assist a senior, a person with a disability, or a person who may have hidden disability. Because remember, not all disabilities are shown, but we do need to upgrade the 21st century. As the president and CEO, Chris, mentioned, that we need to upgrade. Yes, we're in the 21st century, but we need to work together. And we definitely need to work on communication better with accessibilities. I do see on your website a lot of things about accessibility, but I don't see the boarding assistance or any technology. You know, when I did try to attend one of those accessibility meetings, I felt a little disturbed because I asked one simple question. I asked very respectfully, but I didn't get an answer back. All I'm asking is, how can we work together to make Jersey Transit to be safe and get someone there on their trains on time and professional? Thank you.
Thank you. The next speaker is David Anderson, followed by Sarah Klibanoff.
Good morning. I'm David Anderson, member of the Lackawanna Coalition and also Scatter Attack. I want to speak briefly on Jersey Transit bus service. And first of all, I'd like to commend Transit and the bus service for two things. The directive to for riders or operators to allow riders to board buses during layovers, especially in harsh winter weather, to keep warm. This is very good, and it's a sign of a commitment toward riders on rail and light rail and bus. It's it also encourages people to use bus because they can think, oh, good, even if the weather's bad, I can get on a bus during a layover and not freeze or get wet, soaking wet. The other area is efforts to for buses to connect with rail and light rail. You know, they'll actually I've seen buses held for people to get off a train, get on the bus. This is also a good sign of commitment or good service. But I want to speak briefly on two areas of concern. One is signage and identification of buses. Quite often, buses will appear at a stop with no legible identification on the banner in the front of the bus. And sometimes the driver will or operator will put a sign, you know, saying the number of the bus. But if they hit a bump, that can fall down. Then you have no way of telling which bus it is. The other is signaling. When you want to get off the bus, sometimes when you hit the tape on the bus or pull a chain, if there's a ripcord, it doesn't always click and notify the operator that somebody wants to get off. The other problem is doors sometimes don't work, particularly the rear door. So people have to shout out, rear door, you know, several times. And occasionally the operator doesn't hear the signal or see it on the above them. They'll keep going, and that means people have to wait until they get off the next stop, which can be inconvenient. And but I do want to thank you for improving service. Thanks again.
Thank you. The next speaker is Sarah Klibanoff, followed by Vito Harila.
Hi, good morning. My name is Sarah Klibanoff, just from Sarah Klibanoff. Mr. Clory and Chairman of the Board and all the board, thank you so much for being here and all your hard work. Okay, I commute to Midtown Manhattan using New Jersey Transit daily. I know that I've asked you guys this last time, but who else commutes on New Jersey Transit? I understand, Mr. Clory, I think you do, or you will be, so we can talk about that. But I'm literally just here because I can't get to work. Here are the two issues. Service is often very delayed due to infrastructure issues. And even when the train comes on time, often it's a single decker, like on Wednesdays, which is the busiest day now that people are back to work. And like, it's not even that you can't get a seat, you can't even stand. Like the poor engineers, it's not cool. I literally just want to get to work. I don't want to complain. I don't want to whine. I just want to get to work. I already take an earlier train because I know that there's going to be problems, so that I have built in extra time. But I have 6 kids. I'm a mom. I have a million things that I have to be doing at home. So it's not ideal. I took off from work today just to be here because I really haven't given up on New Jersey Transit. As an aside, I commuted from Long Island on Long Island Railroad for many, many, many years. And I've said this before, I never had this issue. So I feel like maybe we should meet with Rob Free, who's the new CEO there, and maybe we should sit down and say, like, what's working for you that maybe we can implement that, we could maybe make this better. Okay. My goal today is just to say, I want to help you. So how can we do that? This should be the crown jewel of New Jersey. I've written too many emails. You can look at them, and the app isn't great. That's a separate issue. I don't even care about the app, but I just want to help get the funds for New Jersey Transit so that the infrastructure can be improved. I've met with our Congresswoman's office, and I know there's something with the things above the line. I'm not an engineer, and I'm so appreciative that we changed the windows, but we need trains. We need trains that work. We need Amtrak to give us like right away or whatever that story is, and we need those things on top so that there's not always like rail switch problems. Every time I write an email, it's so lovely. Like 3 weeks later, I get an email back that says, I'm sorry for the blah, blah, blah. I know what the problem was. I was there stuck on the train for an hour. So, okay. Congratulations, Mr. Clory, on your appointment. My email address is sarahklibanoff@gmail.com with an H. I look forward to meeting with you. Please reach out to me directly because I can't take any more days off of work. Thank you.
Thank you. The next speaker is Vito Havrilla, followed by the telephone speakers.
Hi, I'm Vito Havrilla. I am the Vice Chair and Legislative Director of the Lackawanna Coalition, lackawannacoalition.org. I'll be reading our board statement. Action item 2503-07, multi-level overhaul. This appears to be a midlife equipment overhaul. According to page 9 of the agenda document, modernization, improving system due to obsolescence and compatibility with ML3. What is happening with this overhaul? Why is this firm being awarded a contract for $23 million? We are pleased to see the window replacement discussed in action item 2503-08. Action item 2503-10, Brick Church Station Developer Loan. Assuming the state of New Jersey will add 20% local match to the almost $84 million of federal funding cited in this item, $100 million we spent to redo Brick Church Station. We also assume that the majority of these funds will be for accessibility. How can you justify this large sum for a single station when so many remain inaccessible for some 35 years after the ADA was signed into law in 1990? Train number 267. This is the 525 departure from Hoboken. This is usually a 3-car set, and we've requested an extra car due to overcrowding. Last Tuesday, a member observed that this train ran as a 4-car comment set. We hope that this was intentionally done to alleviate overcrowding and not just a fluke. Exterior electronic displays on buses not working. We've witnessed numerous times that the exterior electronic displays, the front, the side, the rear on New Jersey Transit buses have been broken. What is New Jersey Transit bus operations doing to address this problem? Do they have a contingency plan when the displays not work? Sometimes a bus will have a paper sign. Other times, a bus operator will simply yell out the route. On occasion, a passenger will need to ask the route and destination when boarding a bus served by multiple routes. Lastly, Montclair Boone weekend service. We're still calling for this hourly weekend service between MSU and Hoboken. Our organization is not alone in this effort. On Wednesday, February 26th. We and other rail riders were in Montclair to attend a kickoff meeting for a new organization, Route Restoring Our Transit in Essex County, to push for this improvement, as well as restoration of more service lost. When DCAMP stopped running and New Jersey Transit picked up only minimal rush hour service. Thank you.
Thank you. Operator, please open the floor to public comments by telephone participants.
Certainly. The floor is now open for public comment for members of the audience who've dialed in today. If you wish to join the queue at this time and you haven't already done so, please press *1 on your keypad to join the queue. You'll hear a brief tone to indicate you have successfully joined the queue. Each participant will have 3 minutes for their public comment, and a warning will be provided with 1 minute remaining and again with 15 seconds remaining. Please hold a moment while we poll for public comments. And the first public comment from the audience today is coming from Richard Grant. Richard, your line is live and your time will begin now.
Some board committees hold open meetings, operations and customer relations 10 times a year due to administration, energy policy and sustainability quarterly beginning each February. Stakeholders who want to read meetings agendas, to listen live and comment, or listen later to audio recordings can go to the websites, board committee meeting dates, and previous committee agendas and recordings, where each committee gets its own column. We're nearly halfway through March, and according to the website, Energy's last meeting was on November 21st, 2024, with board members Abrantes and Weiss still showing as committee members. The thing is, for 2025, the website's board committee meeting dates and previous committee agendas and recording both have columns for operations and administration, but no column for energy. So if energy actually had met in February 2025, you wouldn't be able to access the meeting agenda and audio recording links. If energy actually had scheduled future 2025 meeting dates, you wouldn't be able to view them. Should we joke that the board finally realized that every area of NJ Transit needs and warrants comprehensive and in-depth oversight, except for energy policy and sustainability? It's even reasonable to wonder whether the actual reason that the board has no visible plans for energy to ever hold open meetings in 2025 is that it has been persuaded that our next elected governor will ape President Trump. So the board, by obeying in advance, would begin to get ahead of the new governor's first day Project 2025 inspired executive order to end New Jersey Transit Sustainability Initiative's route and branch. Big if true. The zero admissions bus purchases would end if the legislature went along. Related garage modernization would end. Solar installations would end. Looking into battery electric locomotives would end. The electrician of New Jersey's light-duty fleet and installation of charging stations would end. Zero-emission plans for the Access Link fleet and similar support for community transit providers would end. Taking climate resilience into account in the capital spending program would end. And all ongoing efforts to plan, monitor, report on New Jersey Transit's progress on actions to meet its sustainability plan goals and strategies for air quality, energy, resilience, waste, and water would end, and any work to update the initial plan would end. Bottom line, if the board is intent on keeping NJ Transit's sustainability initiatives, why effectively end the board committee that oversees them by not scheduling new meeting dates? Thank you.
Thank you. Your next public comment is coming from Andy Weiss. Andy, your line is live and your time will begin now.
Good morning. I live in Hudson County, and we have been suffering with NJ Transit local interstate bus service. Michael Kilcoyne and his bus management team has been a disaster, and we need new leadership. The biggest problems with the NJ Transit bus team is poor management. Filthy buses and using obsolete one-door cruiser buses with luggage compartments in crowded urban areas like Hudson County is a management problem. Michael Kilcoyne and his management team has flooded Hudson County and Bergen County with obsolete one-door cruiser buses with luggage compartments? Why did the NJ Transit bus team order obsolete one-door cruiser buses with stairs that dramatically slows exiting and boarding? I am asking NJ Transit CEO Chris Calori and the NJ Transit board to purchase hundreds and hundreds of 60-foot new flyer articulated buses for local Hudson County interstate bus service. Hudson County local interstate bus service needs 60-foot low-floor articulated buses to prevent overcrowding and provide quick boarding and exiting. Michael Kilcoyne and his team want to continue purchasing small 40-foot buses for local interstate bus service, and that will cause continued overcrowding and make us miserable. NJ Transit local interstate bus service is overcrowded because the interstate local bus routes have small 40-foot buses with terrible service frequency. Small 40-foot buses create miserable and overcrowded conditions in Hudson County and Bergen County. Mr. Calori, we desperately need 60-foot low-floor articulated buses for local interstate bus service in Hudson County and Bergen County. Local interstate bus service has been poorly managed by Michael Kilcoyne and his bus garages that send out the wrong type of buses for local interstate bus service. Hudson County and Bergen County interstate bus routes need spacious and comfortable 60-foot articulated buses to prevent overcrowding. Michael Kilcoyne and his awful team will pick the wrong buses again, or we will suffer with small 40-foot local interstate buses and have continued overcrowding for another decade. Think before you order new buses, and we need new flyer 60-foot low-floor articulated buses for local interstate service in Hudson and Bergen County. Mr. Calori, we desperately need large 60-foot buses with low floors for intrastate local bus service to avoid overcrowding and speed up boarding and exiting. Thank you.
Thank you. Your next public comment is coming from James Anthony. James, your line is live and your time will begin now.
Good morning, everybody. It's Jason Anthony from New York City. Because of me, you guys saw Christopher D. Rice this morning in person. And here's why. Because New Yorkers that depend on New Jersey Transit Corporation and its subsidiaries from New York Penn Station has to realize that New Jersey Transit Corporation is a backup for those of us that, for better or worse, we have to be mistreated because you guys don't have a sister's button for those passengers that depend on, let's say, accessibility. Because our Metro North and Long Island Railroad have those services. And let's say, could someone explain to us how the pre-registration works? Because every time that someone wants to pre-register to your board meetings, it's always a hassle. Because when we want to register for any of the MTA meetings, it's a snap of a finger. And another thing, why is it that New Jersey Transit is still stuck in the 1990s? We are in 2025. We have something called Zoom. That is something that the Metropolitan Transportation Authority has used since COVID-19. And another thing, folks, we have noticed some board members, including Shantinara, that owes an apology for those New Yorkers like myself. Why is it that we haven't seen her and the customer service advocate in Penn Station, New York, the 440 bus terminal, and the George Washington Bridge bus terminal, speaking with passengers from the Empire State, that we are the ones that pay more, and starting in July we have to pay way more. Why is it that us, New Yorkers, we have to pay more for less. That's all I have to say for this month. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Your next public comment is coming from Russell Borenstein Bird. Russell, your line is live and your time will begin now.
Good morning. My name is Russell Borenstein Bird. I'm a resident of Jersey City Heights. I frequently make trips from the Heights downtown, and I live just a block from the 86 bus service. Since I've been making those trips, I've noticed that the bus at times during the week and even around rush hour runs only on 1 hour headways. That's just not frequent enough. It's not frequent enough for me to rely on the bus. It's not frequent enough for it to become, for anyone to rely on it consistently and for it to develop a consistent ridership. So I'm just calling to ask specifically for that route to get more frequent service, a service that is consistent with the population density that exists here and the amount of people who don't have cars and rely on public transit. And I'll ask to, in general, just for more frequent, more reliable bus service within Jersey City and Hudson County. Thank you.
Thank you. Your next public comment is coming from Joy Anderson Manning. Joy, your line is live and your time will begin now.
Thank you, and thank you for having these comments. I live in North Plainfield, New Jersey, and recently I traveled from Newark Airport. The flight was delayed, and we had to come, couldn't get an Uber, came into Newark Penn Station, and that's where the problem is. We got there after hours, I would say about 11:15, catching the Riding Valley line. I saw so many homeless, but really what disturbed me was the condition of the migrant children laying on the floor of Newark Penn Station. That bothered me. I am a member of the Somerset County Mental Health Advisory Committee. I'm a Newark nurse from University Hospital. I'm a member of the Concerned Nurses of Newark, New Jersey. And this homelessness, with everyone running for governor, especially the mayor of Newark, is outrageous to see that population. We couldn't get a seat. Me and my husband, we're disabled, we're seniors, we're retired. We could not sit in the warm station on one of the coldest days of the year in the state of New Jersey with a ticket. The New Jersey Transit female officer was so rude and aggressive, it would upset anybody. But you did have two outstanding police officers. Unfortunately, I did not get their names, but they saw we were uncomfortable, and they helped us into the elevator to get to the platform. So you have the mechanism to fix some of these problems, especially with all the money that's being funneled to CIT training for officers. But the condition of the homelessness, not being able to get a seat after hours is ridiculous, especially when you know people coming in from Newark Airport with the delayed flights is a problem. Thank you, and thank you for taking my call.
Thank you. Your next public comment is coming from Paul Cunningham. Paul, your line is live and your time will begin now.
Thank you for allowing me to speak here. I am a resident of Jersey City. Like many people in Jersey City, which I believe is like the second largest city as far as transit users go, I don't drive and I do depend on New Jersey Transit to get around. I'm really happy to hear that the 86 bus got a mention today. And today I'd prefer to focus on the 9 bus, which is sort of does the opposite of the 86 bus, where it goes from West Side Avenue, Society Hill, down Montgomery through downtown and to Newport Mall. And unfortunately, right now, this service only runs hourly, and it only runs until about 7 at night. I think this is a direct route for a lot of riders who go from West Side to downtown. And also, I believe that it's much quicker than them taking the 80 which goes through Journal Square and down Newark Avenue, and that takes a lot more time. And if you've ever taken the 80 bus, when it goes north of Journal Square, the 80 bus, which uses 40-foot buses, just doesn't have the capacity. Just a couple days ago, I went to get on the 80 bus, and I couldn't even fit it. I mean, I did fit, but I just couldn't believe that I could, because those buses are so small and the ridership is so high. And I can see, like, when I'm at Grove Street Path, people getting on the 9, large groups of people getting on the 9, and those people would probably get on the 80. So I just want to take the consideration that we could get better service for the 9, and that can help relieve overcrowding for one of the highest ridership buses in Jersey City, which is the 80. We've seen this great success story for the 119 and the 10 here, where we've seen, because we've improved service, the ridership goes up. And basically every time I take the 9, I think the ridership is pretty good for an hourly service. The bus a lot of times has only a couple seats open. So anyways, I'd just like for you guys to take that into consideration, and I thank you for my time.
Thank you. The next public comment is coming from Barbara McCann Stamato. Barbara, your line is live and your time will begin now.
Good morning. My name is Assemblywoman Barbara McCann Stamato, and I represent Legislative District 31, which includes parts of Jersey City, Bayonne, and Kearney. I also serve on the Assembly, Transportation, and Independence Authorities Committee. I'm speaking today on behalf of my constituents who rely on New Jersey Transit's bus service every day and who need more reliable, frequent, and efficient crosstown service in the Heights and West Side. Public transportation is essential to the mobility and economic well-being of our communities. Many of my residents depend on the bus to get to work, school, medical appointments, and other daily necessities. Yet, infrequent crosstown service makes these trips unpredictable and difficult. When service is unreliable, it forces more people into cars, increasing congestion, pollution, and strain on our roadways. We have already seen that when New Jersey Transit expands service, like with the 119 and the 10 bus routes, ridership increases. This proves that when people have access to frequent and dependable transit, they use it. Expanding crosstown service in Jersey City will not only benefit transit riders, but also strengthen our local economy by making it easier for people to access bus businesses and jobs. In the interest of time, I echo the sentiments of the previous caller regarding the number 9 bus. And I urge New Jersey Transit to prioritize improvements to crosstown bus service in the Heights and West Side. Thank you for your time and for allowing me the opportunity to phone in. It shows a true commitment and partnership with the communities you service. Thank you.
Thank you. Your next public comment is coming from Katie Brennan. Katie, your line is live and your time will begin now.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you. Thank you, Chairman, and I want to welcome to Chris Glory. I'm excited for your leadership. My name is Katie Brennan. I'm a resident of Jersey City, and I'm a candidate for New Jersey State Assembly in the 32nd District. First of all, thank you, and thank you to all the New Jersey legislators for the passage of the corporate transit fee, and I urge their continued support to ensure that the full $1 billion be allocated to NJ Transit as promised. I also want to thank you all for saving the A and C buses, including Route 9. As you've heard from some of the prior speakers, the 86 and 9 buses are essential because they provide unique direction. The 86 is the only direct route downtown from the Heights, and to make Jersey City a thriving city economically and socially, folks need to be able to get from the Heights to the city center. The number of families that live in Jersey City without a car is 42% and growing. And while we can get to New York, it's also essential that we can get around our own city. A brief personal anecdote with the 87 bus that I think serves as an example of some of the operational issues that are hopefully low or no cost that we could resolve. So the 87 bus, I live in the Journal Square neighborhood, and it is the best way for me to get to the Heights and Hoboken. the other day. As many mornings I'm getting on the 87 bus, one flies right past me, and then 3 come in a row. Literally no other cars in between. 387 buses in a row. This, as you all are well aware, is called bus stacking, and some operational changes, including mandatory headways or holding, could really make this a lot better user experience so that it can be accountable and trustworthy to the riders that take this very popular bus line every day. Finally, in brief, I just want to restate my opposition to the Turnpike expansion and call for a full environmental impact study. Thank you again for your time and attention.
Thank you. Your next public comment is coming from Jimmy Lee. Jimmy, your line is live and your time will begin now.
Good morning, resident of Jersey City. I want to start off by thanking the board and the governor for a good budget for New Jersey Transit and all of the new energy that has been brought to improving longstanding issues, from cleanliness to replacing the windows and coming replacements of buses. I also want to cheer and highlight New Jersey Transit bus service overall, which with service improvements in the last few years has now reached over 90% of pre-COVID ridership. It's a tremendous accomplishment, and I think a strong indicator of an area for continued investment. I do also want to ask that we do not reorder cruiser buses for urban areas. I'm speaking today alongside hundreds of Heights and West Side residents who have emailed the customer advocate and the board chair on the issue of infrequent crosstown buses in Jersey City. Residents in Jersey City depend not only on bus service to New York City, but also on our local bus services every day, and what's an hour service leaves many residents with easier options to go all the way to New York City than to travel, say, 3 miles to another neighborhood in the same city. Just for a sense of scale, West Side and the Heights might sound like very local names, but each of these neighborhoods has a population the size of Hoboken. On a personal level, between the long waits and the unreliable service, whenever I do catch bus 86, I feel like I've won the lottery. I appreciate the mention that there are improvements coming on bus 86 and also aware that there's a Hudson bus redesign happening, but I do want to emphasize that current demand for unreliable and infrequent service is not a good indicator for demand for reliable and frequent service. So I urge New Jersey Transit to experiment here, try more frequent service, let people in the community know about it. I think there really is a lot of potential to serve not just existing riders better that are having a hard time, but also many new riders. Better transit isn't just about the economic benefits and meeting mobility needs. I do work with the Board of Safe Streets Jersey City and on Vision Zero, and I do want to point out it's also a matter of traffic safety and environmental sustainability, and that the people outside of the transit service that are not taking it are also benefiting. The National Safety Council shows that buses are 50 times safer per passenger mile than traveling by car. Improving transit would not only would provide both cleaner air and safer streets for all. Second, to the board chair, who's also the chair of the Turnpike Authority, I want to reiterate opposition to the $10.7 billion I-78 Turnpike widening project. This project is proceeding under an environmental assessment rather than a full, rigorous environmental impact statement, which hasn't been done on any other bridge project in the Northeast. It's going to end at a bottleneck at the Holland Tunnel, which is only 2 lanes wide, with congestion pricing. Traffic is down anyways. I think there's just so many important projects that we can be investing in New Jersey, whether extending the Hudson Bergen Light Rail to Bergen County, as the county executive Bergen County has recently asked for, building the Glassboro Light Rail, improving transit in South Jersey, or extending the Newark Light Rail to Patterson. I urge you to support the reallocation of funds from the Turnpike widening to much needed projects for bus service, for light rail, for better rail service, and ensuring a safer, more sustainable, and more connected future for all residents.
Thank you. Your next public comment is coming from Kelly Schwartz. Kelly, your line is live and your time will begin now.
Hello, I'm actually Talia Schwartz, Talya. I live on the west side of Jersey City. I want to start by thanking New Jersey Transit for saving the ANC number 9 bus when the company bailed. My daughter uses the number 9 bus every day to get to middle school. She's in 7th grade and she waits at the stop with at least 10 other kids from the same school. The number 9 bus is the most direct route to downtown Jersey City from the west side, and in fact, it comes all the way from Society Hill and through the entire west side. It avoids Journal Square, which is important, and thus, unlike the 80, it takes the kids between 30 to 40 minutes to get to school instead of 90 plus minutes. The number 9 bus goes to the mall, the main public library, Grove Street Path Station, the light rail, 3 middle schools and high schools, among other critical destinations around the city. I would argue that the only thing missing from this line is getting to the Target. In a city where 42% of people don't have cars, households don't have cars, it's pretty hard that this bus only comes once an hour and stops running around 7 p.m. Recently, I appealed to New Jersey Transit asking for a second bus to run between 7 a.m. and 8 a.m. because the bus was overcrowded and kids were being denied entry. New Jersey Transit added this second bus, thank you, and now the problem has been resolved and both buses run pretty full in the morning. This is an example of how more frequent and reliable transit is quickly adopted and used. I'm calling it first. As a resident of Jersey City, I'm asking if you can add more number 9 buses. The first and easiest improvement would be in the afternoon at school dismissal times. With schools dismissing at different times and kids staying after school for activities, we need 2 or 3 more buses to run at 30-minute intervals instead of an hour between 3 and 6 p.m. When kids miss a bus, they need to wait an hour for the next one. Of course, there's a lot of people who use this bus, not just kids, and if you add more frequency, the ridership is there. Second, as an advocate for public transportation in Hudson County and a member of Hudson County Complete Streets, I'd like to also ask New Jersey Transit to make available ridership and speed data for January and February so we can compare to last year. Since congestion pricing has launched, we're hearing and experiencing a big improvement in bus times. And while there's a small amount of data available for bridge and tunnel crossings, we believe there has been a significant reduction in congestion affecting speeds of buses throughout the entire county. When does New Jersey Transit expect to share this data so that we can review the impact of congestion pricing on our public transportation system in New Jersey? Without this data, we are unable to report on this issue, and there's a lot of legal and political reasons we need to know the impact of congestion pricing. Like this previous speaker, I would like to state my opposition to the Turnpike expansion. With congestion pricing, once we have more data, we can better understand whether we even need to expand any lanes on the Turnpike at all. So please share this data the way other transportation agencies do. Thank you very much. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Your next public comment is coming from Matthew Graham. Matthew, your line is live and your time will begin now.
Hello, thank you. I live in Union City, a block away from the 86 bus, so I was glad to hear that it was mentioned earlier. The 86 bus connects Union City to downtown Jersey City. My parents live in downtown Jersey City. I like to eat dinner in downtown Jersey City, and I work in downtown Jersey City. So just want to remind everyone that, yes, there are New Jersey Transit bus riders who commute to Jersey City instead of Manhattan. I try to take the 86 bus several times per week, but I often don't because the service is so infrequent. Instead, I usually end up walking to Hoboken and riding a city bike. And I'm sure a lot of people choose to drive instead. And downtown Jersey City is already so crowded with car traffic, we definitely don't need more people from Union City and the Heights driving there. The routes, the 86 portion of the route south of downtown is there's like several loops that it's doing. These loops, they delay the route north. Possibly those could be a separate route or served by another bus that's already in south of downtown. The 80 and the 84 could be alternative connections, but often those buses also running frequently, especially in the evening, where I might take the 80 and then get stranded waiting for an 84. The 123 could be an alternative running northbound, but most of those buses, they run out of service to get back to Manhattan. And even if they just ran express and made a few stops, it would be great to give people an alternative to getting north. The best, of course, would be more 86 service, even if it was just every 15 minutes, people would ride that bus. Union City is very densely populated. Downtown Jersey City is a great destination.
One remaining.
And finally, the one long-term thing, a lot of times when I look on how to get somewhere in New Jersey, from Union City and Hudson County, the directions say, take a bus to Manhattan and then take a bus to where you want to go. And, I know this isn't an easy thing, but we need more buses that stop in Hudson County on the way from out of Port Authority, because so much of it's really hard to get anywhere in New Jersey because it's an extra hour to any trip to go in New Jersey, because you have to first take the bus into Manhattan, wait for the transfer, and then come back out. And that's just really unnecessary when those buses are passing just beneath our feet in Union City on 495. And it would be great if more of those buses could stop in Union City and North Bergen on the way to their destinations in North Jersey. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Your next public comment is coming from Jesse Halpern. Jesse, your line is live and your time will begin now.
Thank you. My name is Jesse Halpern. These comments are being made in my own personal capacity as a resident of Jersey City. I am here to discuss bus performance data, especially in light of the MTA's congestion pricing program. Now, Governor Murphy and I are both very sophisticated people. We both know what it means to be brave, to be bold, to look at an existing situation and say, you know what, this is fine. Traffic is one such example. Do you know what I want? I want to be stuck in traffic. That is our heritage in New Jersey, and by God, it must be protected. Congestion pricing is an attack on our heritage, and by God, I won't have it. Less traffic is a slippery slope. What comes next? Investment in public transit, which is cheaper and greener and safer for our children? What happens if congestion pricing causes people to drive less? What about the little guy, I ask you? What about the neighborhood car dealership down the street with a history of predatory lending practices? What about the shareholders of the insurance company that mails me my auto insurance bill every month? And if I spend less time in traffic, what am I supposed to do with all of that extra time? Spend it with my family, who I love very much? So please, don't release the data for bus performance under congestion pricing. Nothing good can possibly come of it. Being stuck in traffic is our heritage, and it must be protected. Thank you.
Thank you. Your next public comment is coming from John Richmond. John, your line is live and your time will begin now.
Thank you very much. My name is John Richmond. I'm on the steering committee of Empower New Jersey. Empower New Jersey is a coalition of more than 100 New Jersey environmental, labor, transit, and health groups. I'm speaking today to call on New Jersey Transit to stop withholding data about the effect of congestion pricing and to demand its immediate release. Now, on the other side of the river, the MTA is being transparent with respect to what the effects of congestion pricing have been. That's probably no surprise, since congestion pricing is so far shown to be an unqualified success for everyone, for both transit riders and drivers. Traffic is down. Subway and bus usage is up. Travel time, at least because we have the data, is down for bus riders who are coming from the New York suburbs and from the outer boroughs. Drivers are especially benefiting from congestion pricing, as they're seeing their drive times being drastically reduced. But from New Jersey, both from New Jersey Transit and from the New Jersey Turnpike Authority, there's been radio silence. This is completely unacceptable. And the only reasonable assumption to make from the withholding of the data is that it undermines the administration's positions, both with respect to congestion pricing and the need to spend $11 billion on a turnpike expansion going into the Holland Tunnel. We need sunlight and transparency here. So I'm calling on the CEO and I'm calling on the customer advocate to release this data immediately. If, for example, there has been a great reduction in travel time for bus passengers, we should know that. That would be an incredibly good publicity for New Jersey Transit and an aid to the entire system. So why aren't you providing what the data is? So I'm asking the CEO, I'm asking the customer advocate that commit at this meeting to release the data about the effects of congestion pricing. I'm also calling for the NJTA to also release its data so we can start making rational transportation decisions. Thank you.
Thank you. Your next public comment is coming from Tom Connolly. Tom, your line is live. Your time will begin now.
Hi, everyone. My name is Thomas Connolly. I'm calling on behalf of Musab Ali, who's running for mayor this year. I'm very glad that so many attendees have left comments on the 86 and the 9 bus lines because those are the exact same lines that I came here to talk about today. As everyone has said, these are both critical lifelines for the Heights and the West Side, respectively, but come very infrequently with little or no weekend and evening service. In the interest of time, I won't reiterate the same points that everyone has already made, but I do want to draw attention to a petition started by Safe Streets Jersey City related to these bus lines, which has, as of today, already drawn thousands of signatures and growing. So to point out that this is a need that's acutely felt by thousands of Jersey City residents, not just those of us on this call, and improving service in these bus lines specifically, as well as, of course, other bus lines, would dramatically improve the quality of life for the people in these neighborhoods, reduce congestion, and improve the experience for everyone who lives here. So thank you, everyone, and I look forward to seeing change happen on these bus lines.
Thank you. And your next public comment is coming from Doug O'Malley. Doug, your line is live and your time will begin now.
Great. Good morning. My name is Doug O'Malley, Director of Environment New Jersey. A belated welcome to President Calori. It's refreshing to hear your focus on the customer service experience. And obviously, congratulations on averting the strike and starting to finally have clear windows so train riders can see where the hell they are. Clearly, you're hearing from transit riders that we still have a lot of work to do. Riders need to get to work on time, and they want to have a bus service that is reliable and frequent. There's clearly demand. And the best way to obviously create a good customer experience is to have that stable and dedicated funding New Jersey Transit so desperately needed. The Governor Murphy's FY26 budget averts a fiscal cliff that awaited transit riders with massive service cuts that we would never have seen before. The corporate transit fee, of course, is not truly permanent or stable. We advocate that the legislature and the governor make it permanent and dedicate the funding through the ballot to allow bonding off a dedicated source of funding. Clearly, we heard this morning from felt like dozens of Jersey City residents, and we want to thank Assemblyman Constamato for her comments. The key thing here is that the budget that's in front of the board this morning ensures that we have that stable, dedicated source of funding for this year. We need to be thinking about next year. I also wanted to make an additional comment on an item that's kind of buried, obviously, in the budget, and those are the automatic fare increases of 3%, which will be added on top of last year's 15% fare increase. The lack of public hearings for these automatic fare increases certainly violates the spirit of the 2018 New Jersey Transit Reform Law and arguably its language. Fare hike hearings provide an opportunity for New Jersey Transit to hear the concerns of transit riders. Endless fare increases, no public hearings, deprive transit riders of the ability to officially weigh in. And even though it doesn't seem like a lot, it's up to $1 for a round trip on a longer train trip. Eventually, New Jersey Transit riders are like the proverbial frog in the boiling pot of water. How hot can it get in the pot, and how high can we raise fares? New Jersey Transit has some of the highest fares of 9 commuting train systems, according to NJARP. That should give the board pause in continuing to have automatic fare increases. It also should be noted that the budget reduces the state subsidy by $58 million. That would cover the entire fare increase. Now let me just turn to perhaps the most transformational change that's occurred in recent memory, and that's been the impact of congestion pricing. Despite the state's opposition to congestion pricing, its adoption has been clearly transformational. traffic going to the Hudson Tunnel has dropped by 48%. That has meant we've seen buses moving faster, and it means that there's more people on the trains and buses. But we don't have the data. So this is where New Jersey Transit needs to step up and release daily and weekly ridership data across all New Jersey Transit buses. I also will note in the budget as well, there's $470 million from the Turnpike Authority going to NJT. That should go up to $700 million like we did in FY23. We need to rethink transportation in the state by not moving forward with a Turnpike extension and truly investing in New Jersey Transit. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And there are no further participants in queue to make a public comment at this time.
Thank you, public speakers. I want to note for the record that Vice Chair Carson had to leave the meeting and Board Member Brown is about to leave the meeting. Are there any board member comments? Okay.
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
Board Member Nara.
Megan, I'm sorry. So this came up at the last time. I think it was the ops meeting or maybe the last public hearing. I just want to say I am a commuter. A bunch of people who've attended these meetings or watched these meetings are aware of that. I commute from basically exit 9 in Middlesex County to downtown Manhattan. I'm a bus rider. However, my particular line is serviced by one of the private carriers, but pretty much everything that happens with New Jersey Transit buses are paralleled on the private carriers as well. So I am deeply aware of what bus rider concerns are, and I'm a manager in my job here in New York, and I have quite a number of people who commute from New Jersey using rail and bus. So I too hear about these things from my work life as well as from when you all call. So I know many of you keep asking about what our experiences are of board members. And so many of us use modes that New Jersey Transit offers. And so we do also experience the same things you are experiencing. So I just want you to know that we absolutely hear you. I do want to say that I think that Frank Bowman is in a great position as our customer advocate to help us address some of the raised by a number of speakers in the beginning regarding accessibility issues. I said before, and I'll say it again, Frank was never intended to become like the super customer service rep. It's not going to be his position to answer or deal with people's individual issues regarding a particular mode of transportation and a particular ride on a particular day. But the overall system, like accessibility issues at a station or with a particular mode, are some things that he can work and be the bridge for the riders as well as the agency. So I'm gonna ask Frank as he is overwhelmed with many issues, but I'm going to ask him to also help us out here and see if we can get some answers about what's going on and what our plans are with certain stations. I heard you about the Newark Light Rail station and accessibilities, and so that's all I wanted to say about that. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any additional board member comments? Okay.
Board Member Cruz will present the Operations and Customer Service Committee report.
Thank you, Chair. The Operations and Customer Service Committee received an update on trends, analysis, and actions for rail, bus, light rail, and access link. We also received an update from the customer advocate, as well as an update on the cost of service. That concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you. Board Member Marocco will present the Administration Committee report.
The Administration Committee received a financial update. This included a summary of operating results compared to previous years, comparable period and fiscal year 25 budget, 12-month fare box revenue compared to pre-COVID, major balance sheet items, and federal COVID-19 relief grant drawdown summary. Additional information was provided as part of the agenda materials, including the cost of service key performance indicators, 12-month fare box recovery, history of vacancy, attrition, and hires, ridership and revenue, and a monthly budget to actual comparison for January 2025. That concludes my report.
Thank you. Board Member Wise will present the Capital Planning Policy and Privatization Committee report.
Thank you, Chair. The Capital Planning Policy and Privatization Committee reviewed the board items for the engineering assistance for multi-level 1 overhaul and modernization project, 329 vehicles, and the information technology amendment of contract award to Dell Inc. for Microsoft Enterprise Agreement for office computing. That concludes my report.
Thank you. Chris will present the action items.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to introduce Bill Brooks, SVP of Capital Delivery, to present board item 2503-07.
2503-07, engineering assistance for multi-level overhaul and modernization project, 429 vehicles. Authorization is requested to enter into a contract with Hatch Associates Consultants Incorporated of Ambler, Pennsylvania, for engineering assistance for overhaul and modernization of 329 multi-level 1 and 100 multi-level 2 vehicles. The amount not to exceed $23,273,094.02 plus 10% for contingencies, subject to the availability of funds. We ask for your approval of item 2503-07.
May I have a motion to approve board item 2503-07? Any discussion? Megan, please take a roll call vote.
Roll call vote. Board Member Abrantes?
Yes.
Board Member Morocco?
Yes.
Board Member Nara?
Yes.
Board Member Weiss?
Yes.
Board Member Kaniff?
Yes.
Board Member Cruz?
Yes.
Chair O'Connor?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to introduce Jignasa Desai McCleary, CAO and Chief Risk Officer, to present board item 2503-08.
Thank you, President Calori. This is going to be a mouthful, so forgive me. We are presenting for approval item 250308, additional fiscal year 2025 sole, single, and limited qualified source procurement by exception authorization. Authorization is requested to enter into procurement by exception contracts for the purchase of materials and services from approved vendors set forth in Exhibit A1, subject to adjustments to support bus, rail, light rail, and headquarters operations at a cost not to exceed $20 million plus 10% for contingencies, subject to the availability of funds. The board will be advised when actual spend is projected to exceed this allowance. New firms with material or services whose aggregate value exceeds $250,000 within the fiscal year will be submitted to the board. This request will cover a 12-month period from July 1st, 2024 to June 30th, 2025. This is the second part of the authorization. Authorization is also requested to enter into procurement by exception contracts for the purpose of maintaining and upgrading hardware and software systems from approved vendors set forth in Exhibit A2, subject to adjustments to support New Jersey Transit's information systems at a total cost not to exceed $20 million, plus 5% for contingencies, subject to the availability of funds. The board will be advised when actual spend is projected to exceed the allowance. New firms with services whose aggregate value exceeds $250,000 within the fiscal year will be submitted to the board. This request will cover a 12-month period from July 1st, 2024 to June 30th, 2025. We ask for your approval of item 2503-08.
May I have a motion to approve board item 2503-08?
Motion.
May I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Megan, please take a roll call vote.
Roll call vote. Board Member Abrantes?
Yes.
Board Member Morocco?
Yes.
Board Member Nara?
Yes.
Board Member Weiss?
Yes.
Board Member Kaniff?
Yes.
Board Member Cruz?
Yes.
Chair O'Connor?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Jignasa, can you also present 2503-09?
Thank you for approving the prior motion. We are presenting for approval item 2503-09, Information Technology Amendment of Contract awarded to Dell Inc. for Microsoft Enterprise Agreement for office computing. Authorization is requested to amend the New Jersey State contract with Dell Inc. of Round Rock, Texas, for the period of November 1st, 2023 through October 31st, 2026, in an amount increase not to exceed $1,215,580.81, plus 5% for contingencies, subject to the availability of funds, for a total contract authorization of $15,990,931.93. We ask for your approval of item 2503-09.
May I have a motion to approve Board Item 2503-09?
Motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Megan, please take a roll call vote.
Roll call vote, Board Member Brontes?
Yes.
Board Member Marocco?
Yes.
Board Member Nara?
Yes.
Board Member Weiss?
Yes.
Board Member Koenig?
Yes.
Board Member Cruz?
Yes.
Chair O'Connor?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to introduce Justin
Thank you.
Davis, SVP for Government Affairs and Chief of Staff, to present Board Item 2503-10.
Thank you. Chair and Board, we are presenting for approval item 2503-10, authorization for New Jersey Transit Corporation to enter into a memorandum of understanding with Brick Church P1B Developer LLC in furtherance of its application for a RIF loan at Brick Church Station. Authorization is being requested to execute a memorandum of understanding and any supporting agreements with the developers in furtherance of their application of the above referenced RIF loan. We ask for your approval of item 2503-10.
May I have a motion to approve Board Item 2503-10?
Motion.
May I have a second? Second. Any discussion? Megan, please take a roll call vote.
Roll call vote, Board Member Brontes? Yes. Board Member Marocco? Yes. Board Member Nara?
Yes.
Board Member Weiss?
Yes.
Board Member Koenig?
Yes.
Board Member Cruz?
Yes.
Chair O'Connor?
Yes.
Motion carried. For the record, Board Members Brown and Thomas are recused from, Board Member Thomas is recused from item 2503-13 and will not comment on the item.
Is a vote on consent calendar. May I have a motion to approve the consent calendar?
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Megan, please take a roll call vote.
Roll call vote, Board Member Brontes?
Yes.
Board Member Marocco?
Yes.
Board Member Nara?
Yes.
Board Member Weiss?
Yes.
Board Member Koenig?
Yes.
Board Member Cruz?
Yes.
Chair O'Connor?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Before we adjourn to executive session, I want to let the public know we will return to adjourn the meeting, but no further business will be conducted. May I have a motion to enter into executive session to discuss personnel matters, contract negotiations, the status of pending and anticipated litigations, and matters falling within the attorney-client privilege?
Motion.
May I have a second? Any discussion? Meg, please take a roll call vote.
Roll call vote, Board Member Brontes?
Yes.
Board Member Marocco?
Yes.
Board Member Nara?
Yes.
Board Member Weiss?
Yes.
Board Member Koenig?
Yes.
Board Member Cruz?
Yes.
Chair O'Connor?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Just for 2 minutes.
Hold, and as noted, the meeting will only resume
that thing?
to adjourn after the executive session. All members of the dial-in public who remain connected will be on a music hold.
Thank you for waiting. Your patience is appreciated. Please hold the line, and we'll be right back with you.
Thank you for holding. We look forward to talking with you soon. Please hold the line and we'll be right back with you.
Thanks for holding. We appreciate your time and patience. Please stay on the line, and we'll be back in just a moment.
for holding. We sincerely appreciate your patience. Please stay on the line and we'll be back in a moment.
Thank you for holding. We look forward to talking with you soon. Please hold the line, and we'll be right back with you.
Thank you for holding. We look forward to talking with you soon. Please hold the line and we'll be right back with you.
Thanks for holding. We appreciate your time and patience. Please stay on the line, and we'll be back in just a moment.
Thanks for holding. We appreciate your time and patience. Please stay on the line and we'll be back in just a moment.
Thank you for waiting. Your patience is appreciated. Please hold the line, and we'll be right back with you.
Thank you for holding. We look forward to talking with you soon. Please hold the line and we'll be right back with you.
Thanks for holding. We appreciate your time and patience. Please stay on the line, and we'll be back in just a moment.
for holding. We sincerely appreciate your patience. Please stay on the line and we'll be back in a moment.
Thank you for holding. We look forward to talking with you soon. Please hold the line, and we'll be right back with you.
Thank you for holding. We look forward to talking with you soon. Please hold the line and we'll be right back with you.
Thanks for holding. We appreciate your time and patience. Please stay on the line, and we'll be back in just a moment.
Thanks for holding. We appreciate your time and patience. Please stay on the line and we'll be back in just a moment.
Thank you for waiting. Your patience is appreciated. Please hold the line, and we'll be right back with you.
Thank you for holding. We look forward to talking with you soon. Please hold the line and we'll be right back with you.
Thanks for holding. We appreciate your time and patience. Please stay on the line, and we'll be back in just a moment.
for holding. We sincerely appreciate your patience. Please stay on the line and we'll be back in a moment.
Thank you for holding. We look forward to talking with you soon. Please hold the line, and we'll be right back with you.
Thank you for holding. We look forward to talking with you soon. Please hold the line and we'll be right back with you.
Thanks for holding. We appreciate your time and patience. Please stay on the line, and we'll be back in just a moment.
Thanks for holding. We appreciate your time and patience. Please stay on the line and we'll be back in just a moment.
Thank you for waiting. Your patience is appreciated. Please hold the line, and we'll be right back with you.
Thank you for holding. We look forward to talking with you soon. Please hold the line and we'll be right back with you.
Thanks for holding. We appreciate your time and patience. Please stay on the line, and we'll be back in just a moment.
for holding. We sincerely appreciate your patience. Please stay on the line and we'll be back in a moment.
Thank you for holding. We look forward to talking with you soon. Please hold the line, and we'll be right back with you.
Thank you for holding. We look forward to talking with you soon. Please hold the line and we'll be right back with you.
Thanks for holding. We appreciate your time and patience. Please stay on the line, and we'll be back in just a moment.
Thanks for holding. We appreciate your time and patience. Please stay on the line and we'll be back in just a moment.
Thank you for waiting. Your patience is appreciated. Please hold the line, and we'll be right back with you.
Thank you for holding. We look forward to talking with you soon. Please hold the line and we'll be right back with you.
Thanks for holding. We appreciate your time and patience. Please stay on the line, and we'll be back in just a moment.
for holding. We sincerely appreciate your patience. Please stay on the line and we'll be back in a moment.
I hereby reconvene the open sessions board meetings.
I will take roll call. Board Member Abrantes? Here. Board Member Morocco?
Here.
Board Member Weiss? Here. Board Member Koenig?
Here.
Board Member Cruz?
Here.
Chair O'Connor?
Here. Since there's no further business, may I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
Motion.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. Meeting adjourned.